Wait, so this is okay. I'm excited because you said you had a tape. I want to know a little bit more about what the experience was like when a new song or album would come out. How do you remember what you would do and what your friends would do? Like,
Um,
and how, because right now our music experience is like, I want to listen to a song, I type it in my phone, I listen to the song.
yeah.
Or like new music is like, oh my God, someone just dropped an album. I'm gonna go on my phone and just get the album. Like, what is it like when someone's dropping stuff? Are you catching it on TV first? Does a friend tell you? Like what is that?
It was between the radio, Friends, the Source magazine, and MTV. Those were the only ways. So like I used to so a lot of kids my age also loved rock, but we didn't like rock because we wanted to. We liked rock because we were watching MTV waiting for hip hop to come on.
Yeah.
So we fell in love with by accident. We fell in love with Aerosmith, Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers. We fell in love with that stuff because we're waiting for Snoop. We're waiting for Dre. We're waiting for Biggie. We're waiting for Onyx. We're waiting for Tribe to come on, and they would play the rap stuff twice every hour, but the rock stuff would play all day, and so that was how I would get my fix from music, right? We have Video Music Box and the box and stuff like that, but like, MTV
Oh,
was
wait, no, no,
prime.
no. I don't know what that is. Video Music Box? What is that?
Video Music Box was a cable access network show that was on with Ralph McDaniels in the 80s and the 90s. They captured everything.
Was it public
Shows,
TV?
public access TV,
Okay, okay.
only available in New York City.
Ooh.
And we were able to see, our favorite artists get interviews, and then he would drop a music video afterwards. And then the box was a nationwide thing where you call in to request your favorite song. Now, as a kid, the only song that I remember from that was Doodle Brown and Pop That Coochie because niggas was horny. So, like, essentially, that was the videos that always played every 5 minutes because that was like basically like soft porn for dudes to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
And in terms of us finding out music, when I got into high school, we would cut class and go to the record store to buy the albums on Tuesdays.
Got it. So now
Get
you're
the
cutting
CD
class and you're cutting class to go to
and
the
buy.
album store. And I could imagine that being so intoxicating. Like now looking back, right? Like going and actually sifting through the
Man,
CDs, and probably there's a music nerd in there who's talking to you about other music stuff. So what I'm intrigued about so far is your emphasis on noticing the lyrics, which I feel
mm-hmm.
was more common at this time. I feel like people at this time were still really listening to lyrics in a way that I think decreased over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's interesting that you got the Bone Thugs, listened to it, wrote it out, memorized it, and started spinning it back. So was it after that when you were like, I think I'm gonna write my own stuff?
Yes. When you consider writing these lyrics down and then being able to recite it, and everybody's like, "Whoa, you
Yeah.
know the lyrics to Bone Thugs?" Because they were able to recite everybody else, but nobody was reciting Bone Thugs.
Yeah. They have a very sophisticated flow.
Yes, it's very fast. So that led me to saying, "Wow, they like when I do this." So let me kind of start writing other people's lyrics down and reciting it. So I started to do that, and at some point in high school, I started doing like parody rhymes where I
Hmm.
would like it was very it was very sexually explicit, I would say.
Okay.
So I would take like a popular song and then just make it sexually explicit,
Okay.
just to make people laugh.
Okay.
And I did that in high school in like 1997, and then somewhere around that time, I started to write my own rhymes.
So you're a performer. I think what I'm hearing is it sounds like you discovered your performer self
Yes.
prior to discovering your lyrical self,
Yes.
because it seems like you were getting energized from people appreciating your ability to flow and
Yep.
know the lyrics. Interesting. I think that's also unique to hip hop. You get credit for knowing lyrics. Like even if they're not yours, especially it's almost like a language. Like if I go into a certain environment and I can recite warning pretty
Mm-hmm.
well, I know I'm getting respect from every nigga in that room.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're gonna be like,
Yeah.
what? You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's such a New York thing. I think that's a New York girl thing as well.
Yep.
Um, is knowing like if you can bop to a certain era of music, it's almost like, okay, we're cool. Like I don't even know you, but we're cool.
Right, right, right.
Okay, so what motivated you more? No, like wanting to say certain words or wanting to like make the words flow? Does that make sense? Like
Um,
having fun with the flow as opposed to the words.
it was the words meant more to me because of the parody stuff and me seeing the reaction of
Okay.
people reacting to the parody stuff. It felt like I
Yeah.
was performing. Like every day I would perform. Like no exaggeration, I would perform every day at lunch. And because it was like a dopamine shot, and you get 4 lunch periods. I was sneaking into lunch periods every
For
day
the Mickey Factz show.
for the Mickey Factz show. So from third period to like seventh period, I was in lunch, and typically I would cut gym class to go,
Got it.
or
I feel
I would go to the bathroom and not go to the bathroom and go to lunch to the lunchroom.
yeah. Yeah. You fucked it up for us because by the time I'm in school, you can't go to the bathroom no more.
Only during break.
Yeah, I just remember them being super strict about it. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I think lunchrooms are one of the most important like environments for hip hop.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like I hear these stories of like we was in the cafeteria, niggas was in the cafeteria. Like that's when
Yeah.
shit
Yeah. And you couldn't
like
tape
Biggie and all
anything.
like didn't Biggie and Busta go to the same high school and
Yeah, yeah.
they
I
would
went to the
rap in the
same. I went
cafeteria.
to the same high school as Dragon and Remy. So me and Remy would be ciphering, together.
I love that.
Yeah.
We should do like I think someone should do the next cipher, but then make it look like a New
A
York
lunchroom.
lunchroom. Yeah.
I mean, I think a documentary on the hip hop lunchroom should happen. Somebody
Hip
should
hop
do.
lunchroom. Oh, we gotta trademark that. They're gonna steal it from us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hip hop lunchroom, butter crunch cookies, chocolate milk.
Definitely needed the chocolate. I didn't like butter crunch. I liked chocolate chip cookies.
What cookie did you like?
The chocolate chip, just
Oh, the
regular
chocolate
cookie
chip. Okay,
with the
sorry.
chocolate milk.
Chocolate chip was cool, but like I mean, butter crunch is swaggy.
That's only
It
because
just means
Biggie
you
said
got a
it.
little taste. Like it just means you got a little.
It's only because Biggie said it. That's the only reason.
No, I fucked with butter crunch regardless. Like, what you mean? It's because
Mm,
Biggie said it. No,
only
it's a
because Biggie said
good
it.
taste. It's just
And you from Brooklyn too, so it makes sense. You from
no,
Brooklyn.
it's just a good taste. It's like a weird. It's literally like a butter crunch. It's a little too hard. I'm not gonna hold you. It's a little too hard. You can fuck around, break your tooth on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're in. So okay, when is the identity formed? When do you decide it's Mickey Factz? Did you have a name before that? Why did you choose Mickey Factz? Like, what is this artist origin story? Now you're hatching out. It's like, oh shit, I'm a performer. Oh shit, I'm a lyricist. Ah, it's Mickey Factz. Like, what
Well,
happened?
so my name was Renegade at first. And Renegade,
Oh,
I picked this name Renegade because it was the easiest word to rhyme with. Like I could do spade, grenade, I could do phase, I could do wave, I could do change. So I was like, I like saying the name Renegade. So I rhymed it with so many different things.
yeah.
So I went with this name for about, this is like 1998. I went with this name for about 8 years.
Okay.
My name started kind of buzzing in the Bronx. People would come from different schools to battle me. Um, and Def Jam came to our school a couple times just to kind of do some promo stuff. Um,
To do
Remy
some
Ma
promo
was
stuff. What were they promoting?
they were promoting DMX, Foxy Brown, all of these things. And again, when they came to the school, when Def Jam would come to the school in the Bronx, I was intrigued. I was like, man, I want to go work at a label. So I went and worked at a label at 16,
Was
17
it
years old.
Black people?
Yeah, it was all Black people.
Yeah, they knew where to go. They were
The
like,
street team, the
we
street
going
team.
to the lunchroom.
Yeah, we're going to the schools, the high schools. So
Right.
I started interning at Loud Records and Def Jam Records in 1998, 1999.
Okay.
And thinking that I could get a record deal, just kind of just being there and putting up posters, putting up stickers. So I worked China Doll, I worked Flesh on My Flesh, I worked the Blackout album with Method Man and Redman, and then I also helped on Mobb Deep's album and Big Pun's album on Loud Records. So I kind of did all of these things.
Okay.
And then I started recording myself. Well, not recording myself, but I started to go to the studio around this time. So I'm starting to record music. 2002, Missy Elliott got a hold of my CD and wanted to sign me.
Hmm.
I was in a
That
group.
says a lot.
Yeah, I was in a group called Renegade and Bars. It was me and this other guy, and she wanted to sign us to Elektra Records. Met with Mona Scott. This is before Mona Scott was doing Love and Hip Hop. She was only managing Missy Elliott.
Right.
Sat down with Mona. We had a meeting. Missy had contracts drawn up, but our manager at the time just was being greedy, so we kind of left it all on the table.
Mm.
Fast forward, I'm still working. I meet with Omen, who produced for Fabulous at the time. I start recording with him as Renegade, still just making music, just constantly making music.
Quick
I
question.
Yes,
How did your CD get to Missy?
my aunt was doing Mary J. Blige's hair. She was also doing Foxy Brown's hair. She was doing a lot of celebrity hair. So she would take my CD and give it to the artist.
Ah, okay. Shout out
And
to Auntie.
yeah, and then another one of my aunts was a photographer. She took photos of Missy. So she gave my CD to Missy.
Wow. This is really, I think that's a very important part of the story. Okay.
Right. So
So keep going.
so I meet my manager. So okay, this story has never been told before. Me and my brother Dutch, we go on a double date. We go on this is 2005. My brother Dutch he was in Houston. He was staying with me in New York. I have my own apartment, right? We go on a double date. On this double date, we meet Tanya and Lakita. I'm taking out Tanya.
Okay.
It's a double blind date from Black Planet, right? Shout out to Black Planet, right?
Just including the Black Planet part.
So Tanya brought Lakita, I brought my brother. So Lakita had a car. So I'm in the car freestyling all throughout the car. We pull up to a club after dinner. Nelly's outside. And I walk up to Nelly and they all pumping me up to freestyle. Mind you, I'm freestyling all in the car. And I walk up to Nelly, I'm scared shitless. And
Yeah.
I just say one day
It's
we're gonna
2005 too. So Nelly's like on
he's
top.
super hot.
Yeah.
And they allowed me to walk up to him. I didn't
Yeah.
rap. I just said one day we're gonna work, and I walked away. My brother was so mad. But Lakita, she said she was going to IAR, which was an audio school.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I want to introduce you to a classmate of mine. His name is Saint. And this is the beginning of everything for me.
Got
This
it.
is like, this changes everything. Me meeting Saint changes everything for my entire life. So me and Saint meet. He hears the music. He loves it. He's like, I want to manage you. Well, I might have said I want to. We both had mutual respect of managing each other. I wanted him to manage me. He wanted to manage me.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Right? Because he had. Oh, what is this? He had a vision.
These things, like
That just
Apple
happened.
just did these things and everyone hates them. They just do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
it's also funny. I like it.
So he was a sneakerhead. Now I'm at this point in my life, I'm into like Prada sneakers. I had a bunch of Prada sneakers. It's 2005. They were like $200, $300 a pop.
Oh, so you were pretty fly.
Yeah, I had a closet full of Pradas.
Yeah. Prada's in
He,
2005 is big status.
yes.
Yes.
So he was a sneakerhead. He was into dunks and all of these different things. And he was starting a sneaker magazine called Lace Magazine. And with two other guys, Quasi Kessie and Steve O. And he played my music for them. And from this, we created GFC New York, right? So
Okay.
we created GFC New York, which was like a culture collective.
Yeah.
Quasi and Steve was from Harlem. I'm from the Bronx. Saint was from Queens. And we all came together. We all had our own people, but we all came together.
Mhm.
They told me, you cannot be Renegade. This name Renegade, we have to leave it because it was drenched in street life that I wasn't in.
Yeah.
But I was battling, going to different hoods and gaining respect from different hoods. So when you ask me how did I get the street cred, it's because I was going into different hoods, battling and walking away unscathed. I wasn't getting beat up. Not because I was tough, it's just because I gained respect. Um, so
As an MC, you're
as
saying
an MC,
you're
as an
saying you
MC,
could go in a dangerous neighborhood and niggas knew not to fuck with you because you could rap.
right. But I wasn't beating anybody up. It was just a mutual respect of love from the other hoods.
But
And I
see,
was going into hoods.
I think that's so special about New York and about hip hop is that you can gain respect just from being a talented MC. Like that,
Yes.
like you don't gotta be tough, you don't gotta have a gun. Like we're like, oh,
Right.
rap, like don't touch that.
Right. So then they were like, you can't be Renegade anymore. You have to change your name.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I was like, well, what am I going to call myself? At this time, Jay is calling himself William H. Holla, and people had like full names. So I was like, okay, well, what am I going to call myself? One day I was watching Natural Born Killers with this girl who rapped. And she was like, we should be a group called Mickey and Mallory. And I was like, okay, well, what is it about? She said, let's watch the movie. So we watched the movie, and I was like, I like this. I'll be Mickey. So I had the first name. And I was like, okay, but Mickey just by itself is not going to work. We need something else. And then I pondered on a whole bunch of different names. And then I was like, man, I just want to talk facts, facts, facts. Oh, Mickey Factz. Oh, that works. But it didn't look right. The S didn't look right. And
Yeah.
I was like, what about an X? X didn't look right. And then I was like, what about a Z? And then we said the Z was going to be for the style. And that's how the name came.
Yeah.
And,
The
and
D
then
definitely makes it more
and
hip
then
hop.
from there, now Quaz, he was a stylist. He was styling for BT and Chris Brown. So
Mhm.
anything new that was coming out, Quaz gave it to me.
Oh,
Anything. When I tell you about fashion, I was the first wearing a lot of stuff because of Quasi Kessie.
like what?
I was the first person wearing Hood by Air.
Okay.
If you watch the Rockin' and Rollin' video, that was Hood by Air. And the
Okay.
guy who made Hood by Air is in the video,
Okay.
right? That's one.
Yeah.
Supers. I was the first rapper wearing Supers right before Jay-Z. I had the gold Supers on before Jay wore them in the Rihanna video. Quaz got them for me, right? So Supers, Dunks, anytime new Dunks came out, Quaz got me the Dunks. We were wearing, and we were wearing True Religion in 2005. You
True
remember that?
Religion could get you killed in 2005, especially in the Bronx.
That shit was, people were only wearing True Religion in 2008, 2009 because of Jim Jones, but we were already on it in 05.
Yeah.
My original album cover for Bottles Up, I have True Religions on the cover. People are like,
It's
they didn't
gotta
even
be
know what it
cool.
was. It's
Yeah.
2005.
Wow. Okay.
Rockin' Republic. We were wearing Rockin' Republic. We were wearing 7 jeans. We were wearing nudies in 05, 06.
Yeah.
Nobody was wearing this stuff.
17,
So,
another one. Like it's almost like I get sad thinking about these brands because I'm like, I know people who got really hurt, like robbed,
yeah, for these things.
Yeah,
We
like
were,
that's how highly like coveted those brands were.
yeah. So we were wearing that stuff early before
So,
anybody was.
so my question is, do you feel like the higher ups were watching you? Because they do that a lot with indie artists. Like, oh, well, what are the kids on the streets wearing? Like, do you feel like, because obviously you were a part of the first wave. How did that influence everyone else? Do you know? Like, for example, were you posting, what was social media like? Like at this point, do you have a
MySpace.
MySpace?
MySpace.
So
Uh,
you're posting pictures of you in these clothes. Do you feel like people in the industry were watching what artists like you were doing and then being like, okay, this is the cool thing. We're gonna make sure we're wearing this, or how do you feel like that?
I don't feel like that didn't happen for me until 2008.
Okay.
I
So
feel
you're
like,
just sorry, I'm just so you just have good taste, you're basically saying. Like
well,
you're
yeah,
a tastemaker.
me and GFC New York, like they were giving me the clothes to wear, and because I'm the artist and I'm making this great music, I'm able to be the visualizer
The
for the
image.
entire team. I'm the image for the entire team.
Okay.
So when you look at my In Search of the NERD cover, I'm wearing the military fours that weren't out yet. Like I had them early on. I had a, you know, Biggie said red and black lumberjack, Lamont Dolly. I had on a blue and black red and I had on a blue and black Biggie hoodie that nobody had. Like nobody had that.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it. I was the only one with it.
Where is it all now, Mickey?
What, that hoodie?
All the clothes.
Oh, that's on. You could find all of that stuff now on Grailed.
Did you sell it? Did you
Oh,
keep
where is that hoodie? Oh, I
it?
don't.
Like where are all these iconic clothes? Did you
I
keep
have.
them?
I gave a lot of that stuff away. You know, like I don't have
Yeah.
any of that stuff.
Damn.
I gave all of that stuff away. Uh,
Damn.
I mean,
Okay.
I can send you pictures of stuff though. Uh,
Yeah.
but like for me, again, we were getting so many clothes for free. Like I was getting clothes for free and keeping them.
Yeah.
So public school, when public school, that started from Dow Yee and Max. They were doing Sean John at the time. They were designing all of Sean John clothes, and then they started doing public school on the side and
Okay.
the Black Apple, and they started giving me those clothes,
Okay.
right? So like I was known as that guy, right?
So not
Now,
not only are you good, you're a good MC, but you're fly, which is gonna also
yes.
earn a lot of respect in New York. It's
So
gonna
yes. So I was wearing everything. So
okay.
now you got to think it's all MySpace. We're putting out music projects, but we're throwing parties. We're throwing our own parties in New York City, making money, bringing people out. Now people are starting to see that, oh, GFC New York is lit. So now when you come to New York, you have to call GFC for the party. So the cool kids was calling us. Pac Division was calling us. Cuddy was already in the scene with us. So any party we threw, Cuddy was there. Vashti would come to our parties. We had Kanye come to our parties. Like it was that we were the downtown kids. So
Got
when I
it.
saw your interview with the last guy, I was like, yeah, you saw us everywhere. From Sunday
Yeah.
to Thursday, you saw us because we were always outside every single night. You know what I mean?
I love
And
that.
around 2008 is when people started to really see what was going on with Mickey Factz. And I started to get a lot of notoriety for putting out a song every week on
Mhm.
MySpace. And then I wanted the notoriety for the music, but I got ridiculed for the dressing because
Mm.
you got to remember 06, 07. Shout out to Papoose, shout out to Joel Ortiz, shout out to Saigon, shout out to Mano. All of these guys
Yeah.
were the New York artists that were looked on to blow up. Joel Ortiz, all of these guys.
Mhm.
And the way that they dressed, they were baggy and they still looked like the 90s.
Yeah.
Now
So
you
they
looking
had
at
that like
me,
early 2000 thug look.
yes. Now you
Yeah.
look at me, I'm dressed fitted,
You
skinny
were dressed
jeans,
in. Yeah.
wild ass sneakers, and a fly ass
The
jacket or
glasses.
top.
You had the
Glasses.
glasses.
Yep, I had my Pradas on, Prada glasses, and it was like, what is this?
Did you have a
This nigga's
backpack
a
too?
no backpack. This nigga's a nerd. I got
Right.
called, and I got called a hipster because
Ah,
of the
right. This
sneakers.
was that era. Yeah.
And then, all of 2008, skinny jeans. I got made fun of my skinny. And now you see everybody wearing skinny jeans. Nobody was wearing skinny jeans before Mickey Factz. That is a fact. I
Yeah.
got cooked for that shit. The
Yeah.
cool kids, the
So you know
cool,
you first because that's one of the things about being first. You're gonna get cooked.
I
People
got
think,
cooked.
look, people think being first is so cool. It is, but it's also very lonely. No, first of all, nobody believes you. There's shit, just to your point, like to say you started skinny jeans, people gonna be like, oh, that's not like, and I have the same thing, like, oh, I started this. Oh, there's no way. It's like, yo, I'm telling you. So it's like, what do we really get? And then on top of that, the people who take it and make it mainstream, they get all the,
They get
oh,
all
look
the
how
credit.
amazing this is. It's like, oh, but when I was doing it,
It wasn't cool.
it was not cool. So someone has to do the uncool thing
It was me.
to make
Um,
something cool.
I think that Lupe made glasses cool. So I kind of got a little bit of a pass for the glasses, but
Yeah.
the slim fit and denim, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I got
I was looking
slayed for
at
that.
old
And
footage of you.
because people didn't know how to dress, when they tried to do the skinny jeans, it would be skin tight jeggings, it would be leggings, it would be different colors, it would be all over, it would just be
Wasn't there a
ridiculous.
term for like, oh yeah, like
Jeggings,
what?
jeggings.
No, there was a term for the Jamaican boys who would wear their jeans really tight.
Oh, I don't remember
You don't remember that?
that. I remember it, but I don't remember the name for it.
Wasn't it? I'm afraid I'm gonna get the word wrong. Wasn't it sh shata? Or that means something else?
There maybe Bati Boy.
No, see, okay, it's not Bati Boy. There was like a term, I think it was shatas.
I don't think it was a
It was
shot.
the skinny jeans with the Pradas.
I don't think that was it.
Oh, we're gonna have to look that up.
Look it up
That was a
because
whole era. Maybe it was a Brooklyn thing.
it might have been a Brooklyn thing.
Yeah, because it was like all of a sudden now Jamaicans, Caribbeans were wearing skinny jeans with the Pradas.
When were they wearing that?
It's a blur, but I want to say MySpace era
Oh
because I
07,
remember people like putting it in their MySpace name and shit.
oh 07, oh 08 probably. Yeah, we were doing
Probably
the skinny.
earlier, a little earlier than that.
Yeah, we were on it in 06. And all of my album covers show that I was wearing these things. But people still didn't want to give me the credit for it, but made
So,
fun of me
so
for it.
were you wearing those things because, like you said, your team was giving you them?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I trusted them, and me trusting them got me that notoriety for the fashion, and the music. I was making different types of music at that time too. So those two things kind of set me apart from my peers and my contemporaries.
Interesting. It's interesting how much image and fashion played a role
Oh yeah.
in your success.
Yes, absolutely.
So, so when does double XL call? Like what's happening? How do you get on that radar?
So at this time, I'm putting out a song every week. I got the rocking and rolling video out. I'm doing features for artists. I'm putting out a song every week. I did the song called Incredible with so many different popular rappers jumped on it. And then Rob Markman, he called me. He called me right after they got out the meeting. He calls me and he's like, yo, Mick, you're gonna be on the cover of the Double XL. It was July. It was a couple days before after my birthday. So
Mm.
you're gonna be on the cover of Double XL. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't have no music out. How I'm gonna be on the cover of Double XL? And he was like, you remember the freshman cover that we did 2 years ago? We're doing it again. I was like, well, who else is gonna be on the cover? He was like, right now it's just you and Wale. We got to figure out who else is gonna be on it. But so far, you and Wale are the people that are on the cover. And I was like, that's crazy.
This is one of the last years where magazines still had so much stake, especially like I think we forget how much hip hop and just all these scenes relied on magazines
Oh yeah.
as like what's real, what's really going on. Like the source today, like I guess our equivalent of the source today would be something sad like the Shade Room or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the source was the Bible of hip hop, but they were also they fell to the wayside because they didn't keep up with the times. They didn't transfer over to the digital era.
I mean, most magazines didn't, like not successfully.
I think Double XL puts out a magazine 3 times a year, maybe.
Yeah, and they still do the freshman thing, but it doesn't hold the same weight as the year that you did it.
No,
Yeah, it
when I
was
did it,
still one of those years where it was like that means a lot. That means a fucking lot.
and let me tell you something. That was the me getting on that cover. Double XL was late to the party. Let's start there.
Oh, I
Double
love to
XL.
see. Okay, I love to see this bravado. Not you said that with like a straight face.
They
I love
was late.
that.
They were Alex. They were late to the party. I was in Fader, URB, Rolling Stone, Billboard, Blender, Spin,
Oh, I didn't know
Jet
that.
Magazine, Black Beat. I was in Smooth Magazine. I was in King. I was in every magazine I was in.
Yeah.
And then they called me. They called me after all of these prominent magazines had me in their articles. And I recently just got all of them too from eBay. I got every magazine I've ever been
Oh,
in.
that's so cool. What are you gonna do with them?
I haven't decided yet. I think
You should do
I
like
don't
a
know.
cool display.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, but I'm in all of these magazines. Um, and you could see like my fashion was separate from everybody else that were artists. I look completely different from everybody. I literally look like I was from the future, and everybody was still doing the same and wearing the same
Right.
things. Um, so I know that me and my team changed the perception, and the people that was around us too. Got to give credit to Cuddy. Got to give credit to Curtains from Brooklyn. Kanye jacked Curtains' entire swag for graduation and for
I
my
don't like
twisted.
swagger jacking. I don't like it. They
Kanye took his
always do
whole.
it to us.
Kanye took everything from Curtains. Everything.
Ugh.
You know what I'm saying? That whole his whole when he was wearing suits, that was Curtains. When he was fashion like he was from like a streetwear artist, that was Curtains.
How do we minimize the swagger jacking? You think the internet has helped that at all?
Yeah, I think the internet has enabled people to have their own style by kind of being able to be on these sites and pick what they want. But
Yeah, but
before that,
the other critique right now is that everyone, like no one has style because everyone's kind of copying. But I see what
yeah,
you're saying too.
yeah, I think it's impossible now, right? Because every you can watch somebody and then develop your own style from that, as opposed to when we were doing it, we were the only ones doing it
Right, with less
because
preference.
you had to be in the know in order to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what are you thinking at this time? Are you like, I'm gonna be the next mega star? Like, how do you see your trajectory at this stage at this point?
We were trying to we were trying to blend genres together, and I don't think hip hop was there at the time.
Yeah.
We were trying to blend techno music, electronic music, rock, and hip hop. We were trying to do this blend, but we didn't have the capital to push it to where it needed to go. So LMFAO basically kind of did what I was doing. So I had got signed to Jive Records for making pop hip hop. And then maybe a year later, Will I Am and Black Eyed Peas and LMFAO, they kind of made the records that kind of went to the
And
next
what are
level.
you thinking at this time? Like, fuck these motherfuckers?
No, I'm thinking that all the label got to do is put my stuff out and I can be there with them. Like I
Right.
always feel like there's enough room for everybody. I don't have to be number one. I'm okay with being number five as long as I'm in the conversation. I always felt like that,
Yeah.
because being the best can drive you into a depression. It could drive you into insanity, low key.
That's so
Um,
interesting. That's
yeah,
interesting, real quick, because I feel like in hip hop, you could know you're number five, but the expectation is you have to think you're the best. Like you have to think you're better than Jay-Z. Like you have to think you're better than Biggie and Jay-Z and Tupac and everybody. Like
But you can't say it.
you can't, well, I don't know about that because like think about like Lil Wayne and
Well, you could it's how you say it. Like you can't say it in an interview. You can't say it.
you can't say it like Kanye be saying it.
You can right, you can say it in your music. It's okay to say it in your music. You can't
Yes,
say it in an interview. You can't
I would
say it.
agree, but that's what I'm saying. So I just think it's interesting. Okay, you're basically saying like even though people rap about being number one, that out off the record, they're still okay. It's okay to like not necessarily want to be the best of the best of the best.
These niggas
Everybody
know they're
wants.
not the best.
Huh?
I said these niggas know they're not the best. They
I would,
know it.
but I also think they know. Again, maybe it's a Brooklyn thing, but I just know in Brooklyn, like you're literally like conditioned and brainwashed to think that you like New Yorkers are the best.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
like we're the best, and everybody else is like second tier, third tier. Like, oh yeah, you have a cute little city. We shit on y'all.
But niggas know they not the best though.
But we really are though, right?
But we really are, but we know we not.
All right, we're both just getting carried away to our New Yorkness right now.
It's just reality. Because if you're not going number one, how are you the best? If you're not better than the next person that you're rhyming with on a record, how are you the best? You can't
Yeah,
quantify these things, right?
right.
We are supposed to have the confidence to say we're the best, but analytically and metrically and all of these different ways to categorize it, do you have a classic album? Do you have a Grammy? Do you have a platinum album? You're not the best.
Mm.
So as an artist myself, I've come to the realization that it's important to keep my sanity and my expectations at a minimum. That way, when things over exceed them, I'm not let down. I'm only proud of the accomplishment that I've done.
Interesting.
And I'm able to meet the goals that I want to meet. When I was younger, I mean, I had a lot of arrogance because my trajectory was unlimited. It was unlimited. I was touted as that guy, in 2008, early 2008, people were looking at me like, this is the guy.
You're
He's
him.
the guy.
You're him.
Um, and, things happen, bad decisions, wrong moves made, not trusting a lot of people. It was just us four. We didn't have a like Pharrell co-signed the project, but it wasn't enough to kind of shift the normal person
Yeah.
that was in Texas, because you got to
Yeah.
remember we took over the tri-state area,
Yeah.
and then because of the internet, I was able to kind of go to LA and Miami, and I had a show in Japan and China, and I
That's
was
cool.
able to travel, but like it wasn't like a massive thing like when Drake first came out. It wasn't that.
Yeah. Interesting. So then what happens? Like, so you're lit in the streets. It's New York. You're rubbing
Mm-hmm.
elbows with all these like emerging artists. You're seeing the city, not even just seeing it, you're building it. You're creating the culture of the city.
Yes.
I
Yes.
was watching old footage of you, and yes, you were arrogant in the best way. Like I found it to be very refreshing. Like you opened one talk and you were like, if you don't know who Mickey Factz is, you obviously living under a rock, this, and that. And I was just like, again, that attitude is bigger than just you because I think that that confidence and just you could tell you had the nightlife by the balls.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. I find it to be really fascinating because obviously times have changed and nightlife has changed a lot. When people, we're talking about culture every freaking day, culture this, culture that. I feel like we don't really know what the word means. Like my definition of culture is activity. And it was having the conversation with Michael McConnell in the other interview where, he was saying culture starts in nightlife and
Yes.
nightlife is activity. And I think the other thing he mentioned was like there's community, collectives, and cliques. So there's a community where it's like you might know of people, then the collective, they kind of like party together, but like at the end of the night, you end up with your clique. You end up with like your small, clique. And these types of dynamics and this type of activity that was possible at this era, because in my opinion, I think technology changed all of it. Like
Yeah.
I think that it was the last leg of this hybrid of digital and analog.
Yep.
We still were using social media, but there was still enough of an analog world where this activity could happen.
Right.
And that's why that's what intrigues me about you is that you had that nightlife culture, that activity. So much of that was like a fruit of like what you and your crew were doing, and then it almost kind of like evaporated into the abyss of technology along with everything else we're talking about, the Source magazine and this and cable TV and everything else that evaporated, even CDs themselves. Like once
Right.
everything got pixelated and digitized, so much of our tangible analog experiences, including going out itself, the
Mm-hmm.
pre-section nightlife, the pre, you know,
Yeah. And
section
I,
nightlife.
I think with anything, right? And I think just in life, everything evolves,
I would agree.
and we have to evolve with it or be left behind.
Yeah.
And I believe that somewhere along the way, we kind of lost our footing trying to infiltrate the industry, trying to infiltrate the radio system, trying to infiltrate this higher echelon system when we needed to just kind of continue to be in the streets and, still keep the grassroots and let the label put gasoline on the fire.
Mhm.
But we were tired of being broke. We wanted to, we when you see your peers get record deals, when you see your peers put out hit records, it does something to you. You see Wale, I'm seeing Wale get with Mark Ronson, and his first singles with Lady Gaga. It didn't do well, but it's just the thought of those names working together. It's like, how, like, damn, okay, we still got time. Charles Hamilton signs with Interscope, and he get the Kanye co-sign, battling Kanye. It's like, oh man, okay, we still good. B.O.B. he's with T.I. It's like, okay, Asher Roth, he's with Loud Records and Canon and DJ Drama.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy. You got Wayne, you got Corey with Wayne. You got Ace Hood with Khaled. You got Cuddy with Kanye. And then and then Drake and Nicki go with Wayne. So
Yeah.
now I'm over here with nobody. I'm like, it's just me being who I am. I didn't have that tangible cosign
Yeah.
that was at this level that could just pull me up and he could put the arm around me and be like, this is the guy.
Right.
It was all off the muscle. That is it. It wasn't, you know, I wanted to get with Pharrell. I wanted to be with Pharrell. I felt like if I was with Pharrell, I thought that would have been the perfect match
Yeah.
because I'm fly. I rap over weird shit. It just makes sense. But it
Mhm.
never transpired. That Pharrell Mickey Factz thing never came to life.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I would have been with him, I think it would have taken off. And then you start to see the next wave of artists come out. You see Nipsey, who GFC, we did his marketing. We did Nipsey Hussle's marketing.
Mhm.
Um, we had Nipsey come out, Cole, who was opening for me. J. Cole was opening for me at one point.
Yeah.
Big Sean, me and Big Sean, I found footage of Big Sean saying, if I could just be like Mickey Factz, I'd be all right. There's footage of that on the internet right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Um, J Rock. And you start seeing these artists, and it's just like Wiz. There's a show where I had it where Wiz headlined. It was me, Charles Hamilton, and Wiz Khalifa. Charles went first. I went second. After I performed, everybody left. And Wiz performed in front of me and my friends, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that just goes to show where I was, where my peers were. But if you do not make the right moves, how
Mm.
it all can just be taken from you.
Ooh.
Because we saw what happened with Wiz. Like, he had a great record. He didn't have a cosign. He just had a great record, and whoever was with him knew what to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like we just made some bad mistakes, bad choices. And then me and GFC New York, we part ways.
Wow. That is that's a lot. But I think it's so real. And again, I relate. I relate. I think honestly, I think there's so much parallels between the hip hop world and the social media influencer world where, it's still so new, it's forming because like even in 2005, we're thinking like, oh, hip hop has gone so far, but it's still when we look back, it's like, no, this shit was still really baking. Like
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and not only was it bacon, but it was transforming as it was bacon. Not like to your point, if you look at those magazines, it's like the baggy early 2000s thug fashion, then it's you and you're representing literally this next era. Like it's almost like the last page of this book.
Yes.
That's almost what I feel like your work is. Now I'm thinking about it. Like it was the last page of that book of that era, and then like this next book started and it was like, well, we all are so inspired by that last page and what Mickey Factz did and da da da, but this and the new book has all of that new age or whatever era of hip hop, but it's like how do you get to that next book when you were doing shit in the old book, you were doing
Right.
new shit in the old book.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I feel like that too with a lot of the shit I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just look like the guy who's like, why did that shit first? That's me all the time. I'm like, I said this shit 10 years ago. I said this shit.
Yeah.
I did this shit. This is not new. Don't send this shit to me.
It's not
Send
new.
my
Right.
shit to them.
Right. Right.
Send my shit to them.
Yep.
And I think also it's an internet thing where people just forget. It's almost like all that shit doesn't even matter. Even
Yep.
like shit I did 5 years ago. Like it's like so I gotta repost and I gotta tell you each time because
Yep. Yep.
if I don't say it in every breath, it means
Yeah. And then you looked at like you're bragging. It looks at like you're self-centered. So
right.
it's a catch 22.
Well, that's why I wanted to interview you because I'm gonna say it for Mickey Factz. He's
Thank you.
a trendsetter. He was there. He helped build it. And as a New Yorker, as a hip hop head, as an artist, it's deeply inspiring and I think just so important. And I do feel like the people who get it do get it. I think that the right people respect it, but there are these things in hip hop and culture in general where things slip through the cracks and we
Yeah.
have to go out of our way to say, wait, make sure you pay attention to this shit or make sure you show respect to this artist and this era and all of this because someone had to start it. Someone had to take those first risks. Someone had to wear the first pair of skinny jeans, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it happens.
So
Um,
let's talk about the future because I do like your posture about like you started all this by saying, look, I believe in evolution. Like you weren't trying to be like, and that's fucked up, and let's all go back and it. Like obviously you're on to the next thing.
yes.
And so what inspired you to take the direction you're doing now with the lyricist school?
Um, you know, it was definitely seeing my heroes pass away and their affairs not in order. Seeing DMX pass and seeing Black Raw pass and seeing Shock G pass, and they're passing away with nothing. And they had hit records. I began to ponder about my future. I'm a Cancer, so naturally
No way.
yeah, I'm a Cancer. What are you? Are you a Cancer too?
How dare you?
I'm just asking. I don't want no problems.
I was
What's up?
not getting no cancer energy from you.
I'm just asking. I don't
No,
know.
I'm just saying in general, like you're so fiery for cancer. You must have some other stuff going on.
What is
Don't give
your
water energy.
what is your sign?
Aries, all day, every day.
You're April Aries?
I'm an April Aries.
Yeah, you are. Y'all are like, oof, y'all are brutal. But yeah, I mean, I'm calm. I'm a calm guy. I'm a very patient person. Even in my responses about what happened in the past, just being understanding and breaking down why things are the way they are and why they happen the way they happen. I think that's the Cancer energy that exudes from me.
Mhm.
But seeing their affairs not in order just really hurt me. And I said, what about me? So I began to try to get jobs teaching lyricism in schools,
Mhm.
and I got turned down everywhere.
Yeah.
And then, I went to master class. That was my last shot at trying to get a job doing something. And they told me, don't call us, we'll call you.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, I'm from New York. If it's going to get done, I got to do it myself.
Once again, got to build the
Um,
shit from scratch.
got to build it from scratch. And being that it didn't exist, I had to really kind of fall back on my marketing from when I did with GFC New York and infuse that into Pendulum Ink. And that was how I was able to launch this brand, utilizing my knowledge from being an artist, utilizing my contacts that I never called in favors for, finally, to come to the
Right.
school and build it from scratch. And that's
And
where
when
we are
did
now.
you start that?
2022.
Okay. So it's still fairly new. And so basically, if I'm an artist and I want to develop my lyricism,
Yes.
I sign up for this school and I learn from the best and I
Yes.
learn about lyrical technique.
Yep. Yep.
What else? What else? Like, what are some other fun things that people might learn that they weren't expecting to learn?
So when you sign up, you think you just, I don't know what people think when they sign up, but when you finally get into the program, you get taught how to write rhymes better. You get taught how to rhyme on beat better. You get a mental health specialist on staff that you meet with
Oh,
once a month. You get a business class taught by myself. You get a content class taught by a meta rep who teaches you how to create content and how to distribute it online. You get a songwriting sync class. And then once a month, we bring in a celebrity MC to teach their particular style. So this is like you get about 16 classes a month, essentially.
interesting. Yeah, and I saw some of the MCs. You have like Method Man. I
Mm-hmm.
think you have Big Daddy Kane.
Yes, ma'am.
Amazing.
Yeah, we got
Uh,
we got our own merch. We got our school spirit store. We have our own textbook, right? In full color. It's very
oh, I didn't know there was a textbook.
yeah. We teach
Nice.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
we had an app. I got rid of my app, which was costing me a little too much money, and I felt like automating would be better through a different company. So we're automating our modules. We have asynchronous modules where you can learn on your own. So that's the tech side of it. Um, and yeah, we
So
do. Yeah,
go ahead. And you do what?
and we have a graduation every year.
Oh, I love that. In person or
In
virtually?
person, in
Oh,
person.
that's so cute.
Yes.
So I mentioned this earlier. I want to play devil's advocate a little bit because my concern is that not that lyricism isn't important, but that as a culture, I feel like we've let go of feeling like a rapper needs to be an amazing lyricist. Like you can
Right.
be an amazing rapper, but maybe you're not an amazing lyricist. Like, and how relevant is lyricism to hip hop, I think in general, but specifically today? Like, I'm curious what your stance on is on that, as well as just real quick, because I feel like this feeds into this bigger conversation that's been happening in hip hop, where uh, the question is, should we have to respect our elders? Like you know how like a lot of the young rappers are like, I don't listen to Jay-Z, I don't care about that shit. And then like us New Yorkers are like, how fucking dare you? Like, what are you
Right.
talking about? Like, you
Right.
better pay your respect. Has hip hop evolved to the point where you don't gotta pay respect no more to like the people before you?
I think it's a I think it's a lack of concern and care from the ones that came before us.
A lack of concern and care.
Yes, you got to remember something. You know, when as someone your age and someone my age, hip hop was tangible. Oh, look at that. Hip hop was
Oh,
tangible.
tangible.
We were able to hold
That's actually a
the
profound statement, what you just said.
we were able to
I
hold the
have to take that
CD,
one. Yes.
hold a poster, hold a flyer, hold a vinyl, hold an autograph, and it would mean something to us.
Mm.
And we didn't need, because it was so young, we didn't need someone to tell us to listen to the old school because we were already checking for the old school. We needed to see what came before us. The issue is nobody, we aren't teaching the younger audience. And because of that, and because of the shift in music is always going to shift and evolve.
Yeah.
We lost a grip on reality of what hip hop was meant to be in terms of music. Now, I have no issues with trap. I have no issues with drill. I have no issues with any type of genre inside music in hip hop. My issue is with there's no balance. Why can't I turn on the radio, hear Ice Spice, and then hear Corday, or turn on and there should be a old school Big Daddy Kane, Redman, Method Man. It's crazy they call them old school, but they are. And
Yeah.
play them next to play a legacy act next to up and coming act. I don't see why that's not happening. So, Pendulum Inc. is meant to teach the youngins. I feel like it goes back to the Bible when God told the children of Israel, I'm going to take you to the promised land, but they kept murmuring and complaining. So he had them walk in a circle for 40 years. And he said,
Mm.
I'm going to have the children go in. So Mickey Factz is like, I'm not saying that I'm the Lord or anything, but I'm saying I'm going to teach the younger kids about lyricism and try to get this infiltrated into the schools.
Yeah.
So because I'm not this guy that just wants everybody to be super lyrical, but I also think it's an issue when the schools are only teaching, when it comes to hip hop, production and engineer work. They're
Mm.
not telling them about vocabulary. They're not telling them about how to express themselves properly.
Storytelling.
They're not teaching them these things
Yeah.
to impact the music. And they
Mm.
need writing programs because kids want to rap, but it's like, hey, this is how you actually do it. I didn't have anybody teach me how to actually do it. Now
Yeah.
we have a space to teach you how to actually do it. And I think if somebody is guiding you in that right direction, it helps everybody because I hate this notion that either you have it or you don't. Yes, there is truth to that,
Yeah.
but it is still a learned application. You still
Mm.
learn it from somebody. You don't just wake up in the morning and say, "Yo, I can rap." That's not realistic.
So
You,
you learned it by studying
yeah,
rap.
I said that. I said that an hour ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and most people, that's how most people became who they became. There's always an inspiration. There's always somebody inadvertently teaching that artist.
Yeah.
But what is the difference between being inadvertently taught and being purposely taught?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, you get critique. Two, you get taught exactly what to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you get mentorship, which I didn't have. I didn't have mentoring, and
Right.
now I'm mentoring about 100 artists.
I love that.
You know,
I think that today's new artists don't, and maybe I'm just being a millennial here, but I don't think they listen as much. Like, I think they see an artist and they're like, I want to have what they have. I want to have their social clout. I want to have their image, but they're not listening as much.
right?
Like what the point I'm making is like when you were studying Bone Thugs, like what's today's new artist studying? Are they studying the lyrics? Are they listening? Are they studying the image?
They're
Or
studying the image,
yeah, that's what it feels like.
and they're emulating. They're emulating what they're studying. Now, if I'd never told you that I wrote down Bone Thugs and Harmony lyrics, and I said to you, Alex, who do you think I pulled from as an artist? It wouldn't have been Bone Thugs.
No, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have.
And that's because I pulled, I just pulled this particular thing from Bone Thugs. And then I wanted to pull lyricism from this side. And then
Hmm.
I wanted to emulate some fashion from this side and
Hmm.
some flow from this person.
You got to create your own jambalaya of your own
Yes.
shit. Yeah.
Artistry is just a jambalaya.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And everyone tastes different and they could all hit. They could all hit for
Hey,
different
yo.
reasons.
Yeah.
And
I
I
agree.
do agree that artist development, we're in a bad place for that shit because it's not that
Mm-hmm.
artists aren't developing themselves, but it's also just like, okay, for the artists that are developing themselves, the technology and the demands expected of them of the artist just drains them. They fucking hate it and they give up quicker because everything is less analog and so many of the demands require us to compromise our artistic integrity to play into algorithms and mass appeal in a way that I just think harms artists.
It's a dirty game. It's a shame. Um, I just feel like it was interesting. I think I saw Ebro say this. He said you guys kept saying that radio was gatekeeping and that
Mm.
we didn't play what you guys wanted. Now that we another company came in and kicked the gate open,
Mhm.
now you guys see what's happening. Now look, he said, look around you. There's music. He's 20,000 songs being uploaded every day, and
Right. So now you got a new set of problems.
now you
Now
have a new
now
set
the
of
problem,
problems.
right, before it was how do I get on the radio? And then when the internet first came out, I was like, oh, fuck that. We're just gonna put our shit on the internet. We don't need y'all. And in a lot of ways, that's still true, but I appreciate his statement because he's talking about the importance of curators
Yes.
and curators who actually give a fuck about art. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, at Spotify and all them companies, you're gonna have people who love music, but
Mm-hmm.
still so much of the technology is being built by people who don't have the same like who won't go to the ends of the earth like a lot of the curators of music and art have done to get the right people,
Yeah,
you know?
and I think that's the issue, and that's the problem. You know, there are so many talented artists that are out there that have no idea how to get a shot because it's so many artists. It's millions of artists out there, and
Yeah.
I think people don't understand how many of them is out there, and they're out there blind. You know, and I
And
want to
what it
reach them.
takes. Yeah, like and it changes. That's the other thing. It's not like, oh, here's the rule book, modern internet rule book. No, the internet and the technology is changing every 5 years. So even the way you might succeed as an artist 5 years ago or 10 years ago is different from now
It's
because they
different
keep
from now.
changing the rules as it's going.
Yeah, I don't know if TikTok was here in 2019. I'm not sure.
I think they were, but they definitely were not, they
I
didn't
think
have
the
the launch.
pandemic helped it
Yeah.
expand, but
Mhm.
you know, we're gonna get something new soon. You know, I mean, there's a new site being built every day.
Yeah. And the way they're being built kind of isolates artists. Like
Yep.
even the fact that you've had an internet life, like imagine if you could have kept every fan, follower, and friend from your MySpace time to now, but it gets broken every time. Oh, we gotta go over here. Ah, we gotta go over here. I
Yeah.
do think that's outdated, and I hope to see some innovation. I hope to be a part. I'm planning on being a part of some of the innovation to
Yeah,
protect
you will.
from that.
I mean, I think that, you know, again, not to deviate from me to you, but you know, we first met at a tech conference. I
Yeah.
think you're indelible to the space of tech and hip hop or music in general.
It
So
wasn't the
I
conference.
feel like you're this bridge, right? And I think that you'll always be in this space. I think it's a beautiful sight to see a black woman in tech and still kind of have these roots of have these roots of Brownsville. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the Brownsville. I would have never guessed. Park Slope, yes. Brownsville is crazy. Brownsville is crazy.
I've
You know,
seen some shit. I've been a part of some shit, okay? That's why when I rep Brooklyn, I rep it very hard because I understand like being a Park Slope girl repping Brooklyn is different than and I didn't just live in Brownsville. I lived in Flatbush.
damn.
I lived by
Canarsie.
not so much Canarsie, but like by Grand Army Plaza when it was the hood.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Grand Army Plaza.
but like now it's like, ooh, cushy, cushy. Like it's a status if you live over there because it's
Broadway
right by the
Junction.
park.
I used to have an apartment over in Broadway Junction.
Okay.
So I know about Brownsville.
Yeah, it's tough.
Look at you.
Um,
I'm
but I
proud.
learned so much. And honestly, they're some of my favorite memories, being a kid and just being bad and just running the streets and coming home late. And but yeah, I definitely went to bed to the sound of car alarms and gunshots.
Gunshots. Yep. Yep. And being in Atlanta right now for me, and you being where you are, um, you know, going to bed to silence is a little awkward.
Oh yeah, that's like for New York kids, we're like, what's wrong? It
It's a
takes a
little.
while
It
to
takes a
get used to
while to
that.
get acclimated to it. Moving to Atlanta, and the first couple of nights it was like, why is it so quiet, man? Like it's
Oh, especially from the Bronx. Have you memorized? This is how you know you're a real New York kid. Have you memorized the car alarm style? It'll go and like I would literally go to sleep, like just like my lullaby.
Yep, that's the only way we was able to go to sleep. Or the wind, or the rain, or the snow. Um, like you said, gunshots. You might hear
We have
some
wind and rain in Miami, but yeah, like just
gunshots.
those social things of like, yeah, it was a lot. But I know,
Harlem for me, not to cut you. Harlem was like black people's Times Square.
right?
It never stopped.
Yeah,
Music, people arguing, people rhyming,
people
people
on
getting
the
high,
soapbox.
soapbox, that all night, all day.
That's another thing that I remember specifically on Fulton Street in Brooklyn. That was like our version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown is where I would go school shopping. That's
Mm-hmm.
where you go shopping. There was a
Right.
Toys R Us there. I would beg my mom can you please? I would try to be so good to get to that Toys R Us.
Right.
And I remember the soap boxes and the books, the bootleg books, the bootleg CDs that people were selling.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Soap
Oh
boxes.
man, the bootleg CDs. We'll never know what that's like.
Well, we will, but
I
they
mean, I mean, they'll never know what that's like, man.
but I remember like the hoteps on the soapbox saying like these crazy things that would like stimulate my imagination. Like, there was a lot of like just Black Power hotep and they would just scream it like I got something to say, like,
Read.
right? Like you are God's creation and
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
trying to like really wake people up. It was such an intense, that's culture, that activity. You got, and then if you think about like Malcolm X and all that, he was doing that in Harlem. Like Harlem has a big soapbox
Oh
culture.
yeah, huge.
Yeah, like today we talking about Jesus, tomorrow we talking about Allah. Somebody's gonna come and do a hotep one. Someone's gonna, that's
It's
that's
never
being in
gonna
the
end.
motherfucking streets, okay? Malcolm X recruited people off the streets.
Yeah, he literally did.
So, and hip hop culture is that too. It started, if it, before and during the cafeteria was also just like we're in the streets. And I will say at that Dell conference we met at, you started freestyling, and I took out my phone and I was like, oh shit! Like I felt like I was in the cafeteria. But that's when I first moved back to New York, and I thought that was gonna be my experience.
Mm-hmm.
It actually took me a while just to put a bow on this, it took me a while to realize that everybody in New York that was my age in my 20s, that they weren't from here. Because I came back from the Bay and I'm
Right.
thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to the bodega to get a coffee. And I'm like with some girl and she's like going to this like super trendy cafe to get a fucking $5 coffee that tastes like shit. And I'm like, oh, like you're not a New Yorker.
Right.
So I'm like, y'all are kind of trash. Like y'all don't know how this shit works. Like you're kind of a wannabe. That's when
Yeah.
I'm really feeling like a bitch, which is most of the time. I'm like, you're not really from here. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
See, that's that Brooklyn right there. Right there. There you go. There you go. I
I
love
just
it.
don't like it. Like, not you coming to my hood,
Not you coming to my hood.
fucking up the whole shit because you want to drink the $5 latte. I'm like, you're the problem. I'm over here thinking we're the same.
So what are your thoughts on gentrification?
My thoughts? I feel like I was robbed. I was fucking robbed. I came from a rich, beautiful culture that popularized itself so much that it fucking cannibalized itself. I come from the same place that Biggie and Jay-Z and Spike Lee created this image of that apparently all the white kids from the Midwest wanted to move and experience. But as they were coming in one by one, they were taking that culture out. So now it's in this weird place where it's
It's replaced.
overpriced. Huh?
It's replaced.
It's replaced and it's overpriced, and you're paying overpriced for a culture that doesn't even exist. I say New York is a win, not a where.
Ooh.
New York is a win.
New York is a when, not a where.
Yeah, because it's like, don't come over here in your fucking 2019, 2020 self. I don't even give a fuck if you came in 2015. If you weren't there in the early 2000s and the 90s in Brooklyn or before, because obviously New York culture in the 70s and 80s was fucking even crazier.
Yep.
But I'm like, we're not cut from the same cloth.
Um, I just wrote that down because I love that. I love that quote so much. And it kind of goes into something that as far as a concept that I came up with yesterday, actually.
Mhm.
If somebody makes $30,000 for 40 years and retire, they would have made over $1,200,000.
Mhm.
But it will never feel like they've actually made $1,000,000.
Because they've had to wait.
Yes.
Yeah, well, time is money.
Time is money is crazy, but I'm gonna break it down in a song at some point because I like this thought process of New York is a when, not a where.
New York is a win.
Oh,
And that's why, again, what you've
whew,
done, yeah, it means so much because it was an era. The era's gone.
it
You
is.
can't, you can move in all you want, baby. You want to move in my little Brownsville apartment for fucking $5,000? Go ahead. You not getting what I got. It's done. It's done. You missed it. Go ahead. You missed it. But they gonna, oh my God, I have this funny story. It's fucked up. One time, this is back on Uber pool days. And for some reason I got in this Uber pool with this woman who did not appear to be from Brooklyn. And there Juicy was playing.
Mm.
And she went out of her way. I don't know if maybe I'm just a bitch and maybe I was reading into it too much. But she was just like, and if you don't know, now you know. I was like, somebody get me out this car. Somebody please get me out this car. I don't know why I found it to be so offensive. I found it to be so offensive because I felt like she was like trying to show me, like,
That
look,
she was down, yeah.
I know Juicy. I know the chorus of Juicy, like every other fucking American in the world. That's not, you're not, I was,
You not
what?
I it's interesting because it goes back to something that you said earlier. For us, it's culture and language. If I get into that car, I'm not gonna say it like how she said it. I might say it under my breath. And
Right.
in your mind, you'll be like, damn, that's mutual love right there. If you don't know, now you know, nigga. Like I might say that.
You can say anything because I feel like I've heard that song so much that like it's not the one. Like if Juicy's the one that gets you going, if Juicy's the hip hop that gets you going, we're not listening to hip hop in the same way. It's not no shade, but it's just like I just felt this vibe of like I had multiple experiences of that of like look how
Black I am or can be.
and look, I mean because the intention is I think pure and not meant to offend me, but the reason why I get so emotional about it is because I get emotional about my neighborhood getting erased and
Mm.
getting and my culture getting exploited because it'd be one thing if we made all the money from it
Yes, yes, I agree.
and you wanted to do and you wanted to steal the clothes and the lingo and the but it's almost like it just got flipped inside out and I have nothing to show for it. And it just as a person who lived in the neighborhood, it was just a very tough thing for me. But it was multiple things. It was my parents not being together. There was other social things that just made me feel like, damn, like y'all took everything. Y'all took
Yep,
neighborhood.
yep.
There was a unicorn store that opened off Flatbush Ave. I had to write a fucking article about it.
Wow.
There was a unicorn horn store that opened on flat, and it was called like Brooklyn Owl or some shit like that. That was the other thing. They started naming everything Brooklyn, Brooklyn this and Brooklyn that.
So, bro, everything wanted to be so high is south of Harlem. So, bro, is south of the Bronx.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah. And
mean,
then like I was watching Sex and the City the other day, and she's thinking about moving to Brooklyn because they're getting and they're just shitting. I don't know. I can never move there. What do I look like? Da, 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 da. And it's like, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like 10 fucking 20 years ago, y'all was, ugh, it was disgusting you. It was disgusting the young white yuppie.
the young white
And
yuppie.
now y'all pushing me the fuck out to move in. It just, yeah, now you got me on my back. Now, yeah, but so I grew up. I was just like you. I'm like, all right, if anybody's doing the gentrifying, it's gonna be me. I'm moving to Miami. Hello. Let's get this money and call it a day.
Right. Mm.
And y'all can keep y'all cosplay Brooklyn. The real one will always be right here inside of me.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you saying what you said about the Bronx because that is the last place where and they're trying to though, like, you know, what it looks like to me is white people are trying to live around the bridges so they can get closer to Manhattan.
That's
So
how it starts.
yeah, but when I go to the Bronx, it still looks crazy. It still looks like, oh, we back in the '90s, nigga.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, like let me
Let me
up a little bit.
let me tuck this. Let me not wear these Y3s. That was another thing that I was wearing a lot back then too. Let me not wear the wild Y3s. Let me just wear these black joints and move on with my life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the
and it's like
Bronx,
I feel like some people listening might be like, so what do you want? You want to go back to like dangerous Brooklyn and but like I said as a kid, I didn't see it as unsafe. I saw it as home, you know?
right, right.
So
I
that's
love that. I
all
love
right.
that.
Well, this was a great conversation.
I loved every minute of this. I've
I
learned.
feel like we got to speak about what we wanted to talk about. Everyone definitely check out the description to check out Pendulum Inc. Mickey Factz is doing amazing work. He's going to continue to do amazing work. And obviously, he is one to watch,
Thank you.
whatever
I
he's
appreciate it.
doing.
I appreciate that. And I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to express myself and go through my origin a little bit more in depth with your platform. And I got to learn a little bit about yourself as well. And I hope that people walked away with learning the rise, fall, back to rise and going up higher. I think it's important for people to kind of see that. That's the reason why I read so many biographies. I like to see
Mm,
trial through triumph. You know what I'm saying? I love to see how people got out of bad situations and came out on top. So I appreciate you so
yeah,
much, Alex.
I
Continue to
love
do
to
the
hear
work
that.
that you do.
Thank you so much. Oh, fun fact, did you know Warren Buffett only reads biographies?
I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I only read biographies too.
Yeah. So there you go. You got some in common with the richest man, one of the richest men.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
There you go. All right, y'all. Have Thank you for tuning in and check out the links. Bye.